All right. Seems like it's 9 p.m. and shall we get started? It's the four of us.
10 before.
This is good. So this will also be recorded, and we might, publish, release it on the YouTube. So if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right. This is gonna be the second Yarbo User Exchange Forums, and we have Ken Rose with us. He has been with us since the Kickstarter phase, and he has been very helpful and positively engaged with us, providing feedbacks for beta testing. And with his professional suggestions, we have improved a lot, right? And so Ken, what makes you choose Yarbo? That's gonna be the first question.
I saw Yarbo in the summer of 22 online, and I researched it online, and the modular design caught my attention. I love technology. I'm a retired engineer. I love the concept of what I saw. And so I researched online. I learned about Snowbot and the history of Snowbot and what happened. And I looked at the Yarbo product, and it was just fascinating to me. Um, and then I looked at it on Kickstarter and discussed it with my wife and thought about it for quite a while and decided to take the gamble. And I was the 40th Kickstarter, so I'm proud to be Kickstarter number 40. And I was thrilled to watch it in the first hour. I think it was that it was in the first hour it hit $1 million.
Yeah.
It just
Yep.
the people jumping on was phenomenal. And all the stretch goals that you guys laid out, you reached easily within the first month.
That's
Um,
right.
and then it was just a waiting game. And so the concept caught my attention, and what I knew of the company and researching it, it looked very promising. So it was worth taking the gamble.
Right. Thank you. And so let's move on to the previous experiences you had with Yarbo. And what about the initial Yarbo setup when you first received your Yarbo? How was that process?
I was lucky in that I'm a bit of a engineering geek, and I also love technical documentation. So
Mhm.
looking at the Yarbo website, two errors jumped out at me, just a simple spelling error and a simple grammatical error. And like with any website, when I see that kind of thing, I send in an email to the company saying, hey, minor problem here, you may want to fix it. And I did that. And that's how I met Rachel.
Mhm.
And I we had a little back and forth, and I got fortunate in that I was offered a position in your product pioneer program. So that's how I became a beta tester. And so I was
Mhm.
fortunate in that I got my Yarbo, which I paid for, a few months ahead of everybody else, which I greatly appreciate. And then setting it up was easy because I'd also at that point had reviewed all the documentation, the setup guides, the user guide, the quick start guide, and provided some feedback on that excellent documentation. Um, and so from what I knew of the setup, just from the manuals in advance, and then the videos that you had online, it was easy to set up, very easy. And I believe that the new model coming out, the 24 model, will probably be even easier. Because
Mhm. That's right.
the few rough spots that existed with the 23, I know will be better on the 24.
Yep. Especially the data center, you don't have to make the
Yes.
wires. You just
I
need
love
one.
the concept of the data center with the Halo
Mhm.
Wi-Fi. Wonderful.
That's right. All right. So let's talk about the performance. Is there some limitations for Yarbo, and what are some conditions that Yarbo were perfectly suitable?
I I have to say that the build quality, the hardware within, I call it the rover, the 2023 Y1 main body, I call it a rover,
Mhm.
is phenomenal. I mean, it is solid steel, it is well designed, it is well built, and I believe the 24 will be even better. Um, Obvious attention to detail in assembly. Uh, the packaging. People have heard about the packaging online, just phenomenal. The way the all the components are marked and labeled. It's just well thought out. Um, Tremendous amount of power in that unit. The traction is phenomenal. I have smooth asphalt. I did not install the studs, and that thing, very hard to stall it. Um, Great traction. The auger, where I live here in central New York State, we'll get wet, heavy, slushy snow in the spring, the same in the fall. And any snow blower that I've ever had, um, I've got a 12 horsepower gas, 36-inch blower. That thing has problems with slush. So Yarbo Electric, of course, has some problems with slush. That has to be expected with pretty much any blower. But once we got past that slush into the cold, dry snow, the power of the Yarbo is phenomenal. That two-stage system really can move the snow. Um, Battery life would be about what you'd expect. I mean, I've got a 4,000 square foot driveway, which is a bit complex. It's got a large loop and it's got some odd sections. There's a lot of maneuvering back and forth and around. So there's lots of turns. So that reduces how much it can get done on a single charge. But I can get my whole main straight path of my driveway done, in front of both garage doors done, part of the loop done on a single charge, and then recharge for an hour and a half or so, and it can finish the balance.
Right. Right. Talking about the wet snow situation, for the 2024 models, we actually changed the snowshoe to steel. That makes us able to apply the coatings directly at the factory phase, production phase. That should help the wet snow situation a bit.
I believe it.
Yeah, and further to that, I saw people saying that with the single stage snowblower, it might actually doing better in the wet snow situation. Have you ever experienced that,
I
or
only have
as a
ever
single?
seen one single stage blower, and I was not impressed by it, but it was a very small, lightweight machine. It was nothing of the size of the Yarbo unit, so it's not a fair comparison. People online that I were chatting with, a couple folks talked about single stage machines that they had used in their past that were highly successful with wet snow.
Yeah.
So I don't have a good background on it. I know the Snowbot was a single stage and it seemed to work pretty well. So, my experience in single stage is pretty limited, so I don't have a fair opinion.
Okay. Thank you for that. And let's move on to the user interface and control wise, right? What about the app, the
Oh,
application, the Yarbo app?
the
How
app
do you feel
is
about it?
really
Mhm.
fantastic. From the first version that I got my hands on in 23 to what the app is today, it's had a lot of evolution. You guys have put in some features that just make me smile. Um, on the One of the recent presentations, I think it was Ethan, in demonstrating the app quickly, he did a long press on the Wi-Fi icon and or the GPS icon on the main screen. And I saw him do that, and it brought up the details about GPS and Wi-Fi. I didn't realize it did that, and I've been using that app since day one. And there's wonderful little things like that in there that are highly valuable. And so, yeah, we need to add that to the documentation. Take note. Um, the app is really good. There's always room for improvement, and that's what I love about Yarbo is when someone says, "Hey, here's a cool idea. Wouldn't it be better if?" Document it well, send it in. Yarbo listens, and they will probably do it if it's
Right.
a good idea and other people support it.
Hmm.
And by the
Yep,
way,
we
I
always.
run the app on both Android and I also run it on an Apple iPad. I use both because I'm a beta tester, and the app works beautifully on both devices.
Right. So about the documentations or tutorials, is there any suggestions you can give us? Like, how can we make the guide better? Like right now, it's just the article form of articles, right?
Right. One thing I would advise, I mentioned it before, unless it's been updated, I think documentation about how to use the manual handheld controller basically the Xbox
Oh,
controller. That could be improved.
mhm.
Unless it's been updated and I haven't caught it in the last month. The Xbox controller, the manual controller, works phenomenally well. And on the 2023, I've been shocked at how good the Bluetooth range is. I've been able to drive my Yarbo 100 feet away with that Bluetooth
Oh,
controller. It's shocking how far it will work. But the documentation about how to learn how to use that controller, maybe that could be a little bit better.
understood. Definitely take a note on that. And yeah, let's move on to the maintenance part. So, how easy it is to maintain your Yarbo when you are not using it? And is there like any wear and tear that a customer needs to consider?
Mhm. Really, maintenance overall should be less than what you're doing for a gas-powered snowblower today. I mean, just like with a gas snowblower, you have to worry about lubricating the chute and the auger chamber with something, WD-40, wax, an automotive polish, something to make it more slippery. Same with the Yarbo. 2024 will have that coating you mentioned on the steel. So that's a wash. That's not added labor. Um, the greasing the track, that is a concern. It's just not all that clear in the manual what should be done about greasing the track. And the guidance about what kind of grease is appropriate more lists the specifications of the grease versus product names. And a lot of the greases that will work for it are really expensive. Um, there's one good grease out there that has a fair price that's available through Walmart and every
Mhm.
place else. I can't think of the name of it now. It's online, but you can buy a grease at $8 or $10 a tube. That's wonderful. Um, so figuring out how to grease it properly is an issue, but once you know, it's a quick, easy job.
Yeah.
Any more need to worry about it and the first year or so of use while you're breaking it in. It's less of a concern later on in life.
Yeah, and also I have been hearing that some customers are experiencing their the screws getting rust. Did you encounter any of those issues, like rusty issues?
Not really. I had a little bit of rust on the screws that hold the plastic chute down to the collar below the plastic
Correct. Yeah.
chute, but rust happens. Um, every other bolt that I've looked at has been all right. I did have the issue on the 2023, which I believe will be resolved in the 2024, where the
Mhm.
four bolts that hold the tilt lifting mechanism on the front, that those bolts had wear, and I had to replace those bolts. That was easy enough. And the bolts were provided in the maintenance kit, so it was very nice. Um, that was something that was known, and you guys advertised it, and I just had to do that work. But maintenance has been
Yeah.
minimal and very easy.
Right. Okay. So the last question from me is gonna be customer support and service.
You guys are top notch. Um, yeah, I feel that your support staff is mostly first shift, Monday to Friday kind of thing in China.
Mhm.
But you have people paying attention over weekends and off hours as well. So when you send in a ticket, you may get a reply very quickly, or you might have to wait for business hours. But either way, you'll get a response pretty quickly. Um, being a beta tester, I've got some connections into Yarbo as well, and it's amazing the hours that they do. Yarbo staff really cares about the product and support. And I absolutely love in the application at the top right corner of the application used to operate the Yarbo, you hit the little icon for profile where your username and all that is. Right in there, you can get into support and you can see every ticket you've ever submitted, whether you've sent it in through support@yarbo.com or you created the ticket on a computer or you created the ticket through that application. They're all right there, so
Yeah.
easily accessible. Likewise, from that application in the support center, you get right into the knowledge base where there's videos and information, and it's all right from the application, either iOS or Android. I mean, well done.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think that's all the questions from me. And I'm gonna do the open Q&A sessions. I see there's a lot of familiar names here. Maybe we can discuss it. All right. Is there anything that you want to ask? See that Steve is here.
I expect Steve to throw some softballs at me. It's a private joke between him and me.
I think we get.
I'll make statements online that it's really easy to make a humorous or sarcastic reply to, and Steve has been very polite about not doing so.
I get a question. This is Brennan Scott. Kent, thanks for coming on and chatting with everyone. Have you? And I had to step away to help my children. So if you talked about it, I'm sorry I missed it. What are you most excited about for the new release that's coming up? New features or new tech? And have you been involved in any of the brainstorming or counseling to get that through?
Absolutely. I am a beta tester. So I get to, number one, review documentation, which I love doing. I'm sick. But I've gotten to test lots of cool software things as well, from improvements for the Wi-Fi for the 2023, which will not be an issue with the 2024. What I'm really excited to see in the 2024, the vision ability, the ability to use the front cameras on the snowblower or the mower, as well as the side cameras on the body, and have that first person video view of what the machine is seeing. I did beta test that software on the 2023. It blew my socks off. It was so cool. But the 2023 running on a USB bus for the cameras and all the other sensors and electronics, it'll be better with the Ethernet bus on the 2024. And the 2023 design uses your home Wi-Fi. Some people have fantastic Wi-Fi hardware, most don't, including me. I have an outdated mesh system that doesn't reach far enough on my property. So the fact that it's coming with the data center, I think, is phenomenal. I mean, that's basically, it's a Wi-Fi on a lower frequency with more range and better throughput at range. So the data center should do a very good job at supporting that remote vision feed, as well as just giving better connectivity to the rover while it's operating. One thing that I've seen a lot online is lack of understanding, I guess, or not enough discussion about the need for Wi-Fi. The 2023 must have good GPS and Wi-Fi link and everything else to get started and operate. But if the 2023, while running a work plan, drives out of your Wi-Fi range, it'll keep on going and it will work beautifully. It can operate, complete the work job, and return to the dock, having lost Wi-Fi in the middle of the process. The problem is you may not be able to stop it or pause it with your phone application when that occurs. It does have the 4G cellular data link, but you may have to restart the application or mess around a bit in order to be able to pause it. But it can operate when Wi-Fi fails, which is impressive. The 2024 will not have that issue with the data center because it's a dedicated, longer range link with better throughput. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that data center on the 2024.
Yep. And we have Rachel joining us.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
During the Q&A pages.
Okay.
Kent, just one more follow-up question. Thanks for that great answer. Also, how does it do with snowbanks at the end of the driveway?
I was paranoid about that when I first got it. You know, same concern as everybody else. 200-pound machine, whirling blades, big, you know, road people, cats, dogs, cars, mailman, snowplow. So I took that tip portion of my driveway, I made it its own work area. And so the end 8 or 10 feet of my driveway, I made it a separate work area, and I will run that when I'm watching, you know, at first, just to make sure. And I'd run it at a time where I knew the mailman wasn't going to be out there and the village plow had been by. We're on a quiet side street, one-way side street, so there's not really too many pedestrians, and it's done pretty darn well. We had a mild winter last winter overall, which is unusual. I think we only got about 80 inches total through the whole season, which is nothing for my area. Um, but I would have up to maybe 10 to 14 inches out there with a couple of our heavier storms, which is nothing compared to Wisconsin and other states. Um, but it did well. My local snowplow operators actually had seen it running. They stopped the truck to watch it run. Um, I learned that when we had about 10 to 11 inches of snow, and I did not use the schedule. I just got up in the morning and said, oh crap, I should have used the schedule. This is my cat Bella, who's been on some of the videos. um, uh, so I had to clear 10, 11 inches of snow in the morning. And I knew that was pushing my luck because it wasn't wet snow, but it was heavy, dry, fine-grained snow. The Yarbo just ate it up. I mean, it did tremendously well. I did a lot of the job using the work plan that I had programmed. It ran autonomously. For some of the tricky bits, I used the manual controller, including the end of my driveway, because the snowplow had been through and it was really deep up there and packed in. I just used the manual controller, which is a lot of fun. Um, and it did a beautiful job. Sorry for such a long answer. I talked too much.
No, it's perfect.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
That's really good.
And oh, by the way, big hint, the manual controller, yeah, it's an Xbox controller basically. Your hands get cold. So don't use it. You can use the application on your phone. And on that, you can use a stylus. If your phone has a stylus, wear warm gloves, hold the stylus, and just use the stylus to operate the controls. It works beautifully, and your hands don't freeze.
Great, thank you for that. And I see that we had a question in the chat. So what is the longest module for Yarbo? It's going to be the lawnmower, basically. And how far past the front of the docking station will it stick out when charging? It's a few inches, I think 2 inches. Not too far. Some kind of small paveway areas. I'll get you the details after this forum. All right. Is there any other questions? Want to step in here, Rachel?
Yeah, of course. I'm not sure, like, what have you guys been talking about the whole time? Discussing QA?
Mhm.
Okay. Think, yeah, Kent, if there's no more questions, we can chat.
Sure.
Do you have any questions for us or anything?
Oh.
How's the M1 testing so far?
I saw a post online in the pre-order thread that someone had said they gotten an email from you guys about the future of Halo with the 23. Is there anything there to discuss?
Yep.
Definitely, yeah. So we have delayed the shipment a little bit for the 2023 M1 because we were testing the
Compatibility with Halo?
yes.
Yeah.
And it was a success. So we will be implementing that for all the 2023 models.
Oh, wow.
And we will be producing a new battery cabin cover.
Yep.
So that's where the Halo antenna gonna be installed.
It's similar to the one Ken have been like playing around with
Yes,
the M1, right?
Yes,
The little the antenna
yes.
that's
on the back.
sticking out from the battery cabin. So
Mhm.
yeah, because we really want to fix this issue, the network connectivity issues for our 2023 models, and yeah, Halo clearly have presented to be a effective way to provide a more stable Wi-Fi connectivity.
That's right. The only downside is that you will not be able to use the physical controller anymore.
Yeah, you
okay.
have to use the
Yeah.
the USB.
So that's the only portal we have, like the USB right there. You have to take out the controller receiver out and then plug it in with the Halo antenna. And that's how we made it possible for enhancement, for the enhancement.
Yes, a retrofit for the 2023 version.
Yes.
Right.
And I think
That makes sense.
when you get you also get a new data center, right?
Mhm.
And have to do we pair it for them, or do they pair them?
No, I don't think it's a data center. It's just a Wi-Fi receiver. No, not receiver. But it's gonna be the Wi-Fi module. A new so a Wi-Fi module and a Wi-Fi antenna, Wi-Fi Halo antenna.
Okay, so
Yeah, you keep the
RDMA base.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's the plan for now.
Okay.
I think you lost me on that. So it'll be a plug-in module that'll plug into the USB bus where the physical controller module is
Receiver.
connected now. Yeah, you unplug that
Yes.
receiver and you plug in the new Halo receiver unit. And then well, that was interesting. And then there'll be a basically a Halo router of some form, correct? That goes up on the house.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sorry, we were just fixing some.
Oh, sure. Is there
Yes.
then a Halo router that would go up on the house for the 2023?
Yep. So it's gonna only be a Halo module, so you don't have to. You do not have to place it at the top of your roof, right?
Ah,
You don't. Yeah, there's no GPS for it. Just the Wi-Fi, just for Wi-Fi Halo.
okay.
So just like any other routers you're gonna use, you can place it.
Anywhere.
I mean, maybe not indoor, but somewhere in the open. So yeah, we are still testing it.
That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing it. This is a good example of how Yarbo cares. I mean, when problems have come up in the past, you find a way of resolving it and get it out there. So I think it's wonderful that you're doing this for those that are going to be sticking with the 2023s.
Yep.
Thank you.
I see Scott just joined this party.
Hello, Scott.
Hi.
And your museum behind you. I love it.
Oh, so it's my screensaver from last year yet. Sorry. Quick question on that Halo. Is there any more that gets installed in the rover other than the antenna? Is there a module that gets built into the cover, or is it just the antenna that goes on the rover for the Halo upgrade?
Just that and
Okay.
And a module that replaces the physical controller module, correct?
yes. No.
Mm.
What was that? You will not be able to use the physical controllers for the 2023.
Right.
Halo,
Yeah. There's no more ports for us to use, unfortunately.
Yes.
So you basically just unplug the remote and plug the antenna into the USB, but there's nothing else that goes into the body.
Yes.
Okay.
And then all the other updates will be OTA. So yeah, so you don't have to plug in anything else.
That's great. I mean, I think that'll help those with Wi-Fi problems for sure. Well done.
All right. Any more questions from our guest?
From our new
I
friends,
think
maybe.
Brenna have been joining our live events and our user exchange forums every time. I think I've seen him all the time. Our
Very active.
new best friend.
Yeah, having fun. Thanks. Good to see y'all.
What did you get? Did you get the snowblower, the lawnmower?
Looking at the snowblower and lawnmower. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Awesome.
Good choices.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
That's good choices.
Yeah. All right. If you guys do not have any other questions, I want to share a project that we're doing right now. Actually, we're thinking about having an ambassador program on our website. So like our current Yarbo owners can register and they can have their like profile and their not address but the area they're located in on the map. So like our new potential users can reach out to them to see if they can get, I don't know, like a demo of the unit or just simply chat. How do you guys feel about that? Feel about it? I think we're gonna launch it this week.
Yeah, I've got Yarbo MN already, so I would definitely be into that anyway.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this
That
is
sounds like a
actually
great idea.
inspired. Sorry, what is it?
I think it sounds like a great idea. I've
Mm.
shown my system to many neighbors, and we've got a lot of contractors coming through doing a project. They've all seen it as well. So yeah, that'd be a great way to share with other people in the area.
Awesome. Yeah, this is actually inspired by one of the comments in our group chat in our community. I think someone mentioned like there's an ambassador program for a guitar company, just so like people can mingle or just to socialize on our website. So we thought like why not? Why we should get one for Yarbo as well. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about? How have the M1 testing been, Steve? I saw you've been posting like some successful runs in our group chat.
Oh, we
Are
had
we
a
allowed
very
to
good day
discuss that?
today.
Yeah, of course. Anything. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we had a very good day today. I had it out doing 2 separate runs.
Mhm.
So I divided my backyard into 3 areas and 2 100% successful runs.
Okay.
Only issue, I ran over something and bent a blade, but that's okay. I can deal with
They're
that.
cheap and easy. I gotta say that the build quality and well, you can just see it right there, behind Scott in the top picture up against the camper on the left side. You can see an M1 right there. The M1 build quality is really good on the beta units that we have. And I gotta say, it is incredibly quiet. It's amazing how quiet it is. The cut quality is phenomenal. We've been through a lot of issues with firmware as you've been developing it and fixing bugs. And Steve's had a little better luck than Scott and I due to differences in our hardware. But there's a lot of potential here, and I love the way it's operating with the current firmware we've got, and it's only going to get better.
Thank you, Ken. Yep, as always. There are always some like bugs at front. I think bugs are our best friend when we innovate.
Yes.
I think. Yep.
I think they are releasing a new firmware every day.
Yeah.
And we're very proud to be beta testers to verify that firmware before it goes out to the public.
Yes. How do you guys like the UI, the user interface of the M1's app? The M1, the lawnmower section on the app?
It's just like the snowblower. It's well integrated. It's well fit. It works well. It's intuitive. I don't have any complaints. How about you guys?
Any complaints? We're gonna fix it. Bring it up. I'll let
No,
the
there's
19 know.
no complaints. I mean, like Kent said, it's just like running the snowblower.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed that is going to be helpful compared to what we saw with the snowblower is that the numbers are in inches, for the stateside users, it's going to be, more intuitive for them to understand, what the cut level is, what the turn radius and stuff like that. So it's definitely better than what we were dealing with, trying to figure out what the angle of the snow chute was.
That brings up a question right there, Steve. In the profile, in the user settings, we pick Imperial versus SAE for the unit. And so if we had picked, I'm sorry, metric versus Imperial SAE. If we had picked metric, would we be seeing it in centimeters versus inches for the cut height?
We should have two versions of the parameters, right, on the app?
I did
One
raise
inches.
it as a request, but I don't know
Okay.
if they implemented that or not.
Yeah, it should be implemented when, like, I don't know, for the 2023 version M1 when our users get them this summer, right?
This summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know the app does support both metric and what we stupid Americans like to use. So I would assume that would carry through all the screens. We need to get caught up with the rest of the world and use metric.
Yes, I think we're gonna have two of the matrix.
Yeah, I have the app open right now. I was just looking at it, and it's in that in your profile screen where Kent was talking about how you send for support tickets. Right below support is a length unit, and you can switch between Imperial and metric. All it asks you to do when you change it is to reset or reopen the app.
Okay, so I think they probably have already implemented for the parameters.
I think they have the version that I don't even have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, true.
sorry.
Right.
You guys are really
We have connections, Ethan.
Talk to the lady next to you.
Yeah, the most up-to-date version.
Yep.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd like to see added, Rachel, is for you've got your pre-populated no-go zones. They're all square. Some circles there would be handy. Trees,
Right.
round objects for the lawn. I mean, the square works great for all your cars and your vehicles in your driveway if you got one that pops in, but some circles would be great for trees or stuff in your yard. Most of that seems to be circular. You're going around.
One thing I want to add for those that like to do patterns on their lawn, when the application draws out the pattern well, let me back up. You start by driving the Yarbo around the perimeter of your lawn. You define the outer edges. Then the application figures out what the pattern will be. It will mow within that. If you look at that pattern it lays out and you go, oh, that's illogical because it's going up and down my hill every time I want it to go sideways, you can go in there and set an offset of 10 degrees, 45 degrees, 90 degrees, whatever you want. I think it's in units of 10 degrees. So you can turn it to go across your hill the way you want. Now, where this matters is you can set double mow. So it will mow the area twice. So you can have the second pattern offset by 90 degrees if you want. So you can mow a checkerboard pattern on your lawn by default by doing a double mow, having that second pattern set off by 90 degrees. You can do cool things too, like set it to 45 degrees for the second pass. So you can make a diamond pattern on your lawn. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility in that if you like to try to get pretty patterns in your lawn. I know that the 2024, you were talking about more advanced features in the future, like lawn printing, sort of speak, where you could do patterns or maybe characters, who knows. That's future. That's not today. But today, you can do that offset, and that's pretty neat. Likewise, you can do that with snow blowing too.
Yeah, I think we need to talk with the algorithm team about it. It sounds very logistic and sounds easy, but I think there's a lot of challenge and there's gonna be a lot of bugs in it just to offset the road. So yeah, we need to discuss it with the team.
Yeah, I've done the checkerboard pattern already because the app supports it and it works.
Yeah, I think it's just similar to the plow algorithm. You can just change the angle,
Yep. Yep.
degree of the
That's
angle of it. So like the first round, if you go straight, the second round you can choose like either to be like
Yeah.
slightly.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I think that
it's-
shouldn't be that hard.
Yep. Yeah, the app for the M1 supports it today and it works very well.
All right. We'll let the team know. I think for now, we already have like checkerboard, spiral patterns in the
Oh, wow.
app. Do we have it for now? No?
I don't think checkerboard.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
A sparrow, yes. I think. Right, going circular.
Okay.
That
I
may be
think
an upcoming beta.
we have a question from Brian regarding the location of charging base. How critical is the satellite reception for the base, or is it more important for the RTK plus Halo unit? The satellites for the base?
Docking station.
The docking station does not need any satellites. It's just when Yarbo navigates back to the docking station, when Yarbo approaches the docking station, Yarbo needs to have a clear sky of the view to have a better reception of the satellites. So I didn't quite get the.
I think I understand this question. That confused me a lot too at first because I didn't understand all the communication paths. The docking station, the charging station, all it does is provide power to the Yarbo like any QI cell phone charger, so to speak. But when the Yarbo is parked on it, to be able to park there, the Yarbo has to have that 120-degree clear sky view and good satellite and good Wi-Fi as well. So yes, the docking station needs to be placed where it has good sky view, 120-degree sky view, and good Wi-Fi, but it's not for the docking station. It's for the Yarbo that parks on top of it.
Yep.
And the Yarbo does not need a clear line of sight to the docking station, which is a common question. It's just a charge pad, but you need to have a decent placement of your antennas so the signal is optimized to the Yarbo when it's operating.
Yes.
And is there a dual camera on the back too?
Not for now. Now we have the sensors, right? Ultrasonic sensors
Yes.
for detection. But we are actually thinking about adding cameras or just so the rear part of Yarbo can have more expandability for attachments or even rear modules. I think I've heard the product team discussing on this. Just so Yarbo
Yeah,
can, yeah,
if we have, it's gonna be a binocular camera, so
yes.
dual camera.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, my thought there is there's nothing stopping you from mowing in reverse. For snow blowing, yes, you have to be going forward. But for mowing, like my thought process is to minimize the number of turns and all those weird movements you got to do in order to turn around and go back in the direction you were coming from. If you could just change your angle by like 5 degrees and just back up all the way, and then change your angle by 5 degrees and then go forward all the way, and change your angle by 5 degrees and go backward all the way, you would essentially mow while moving side to side by only turning 5 degrees at either end. So like that's where I'm seeing the capability that Yarbo has, where by having all these additional sensors, not just the front, is that it's capable of doing so much more than your traditional setup where you're really only worried about the front. And that's intriguing to me.
That's very interesting because that's the exact point our product team has been making right now. So like they want to add a dual camera on the back, just so to make Yarbo, there's no front and back anymore for Yarbo, right? It can go more to front and
Anyway.
to back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm certain that they are discussing it and trying to implement it to the 2024 and see how that works. Because sensors doesn't really
Yeah.
Right.
I apologize. I just got a tap on the shoulder from a friend of mine saying my camera's not been on all this time. I'm sorry. I did not realize that. I apologize.
This is cute. So, right. So the cameras basically can do all the things that sensors can and do better. And we do see that cameras could be a good solution to obstacle avoidance also, just like what Tesla did. So it's gonna be all visions, pure vision, right? No more radar, no more sensors, just visions. And we are trying to do that also. So there's that. Yep.
We don't have a finalized announcement for that yet, but when we do, we will let you guys know.
Right. Oh.
Great, thanks.
Well, I can one up you. I got another cat right here at my feet if I can catch it.
I got 4.
Yeah,
Come
I
on,
go
Scott,
find my
pull 'em up.
cat
Me too, Steve.
Yeah, we have 3 cats at the office.
There you
Our
go.
supervisor,
You have to have cats.
No dogs rule.
Captain Morgan, I think.
It's Captain.
Captain.
Captain here. What's here? Ooh, here. There you
I'm
go.
glad you have office cats. They're wonderful.
Yes.
Down.
When we're working overtime, they're always sleeping. So there's that.
They know better.
Yeah.
Rachel, if I could, one thing I was noticing today in testing,
Mhm.
where I finally had some successful runs, consecutive successful runs. I wanted to set up a schedule for this week to have it, go do the various areas, and went to go do that, and it was only allowing me to do same day.
Okay.
So that was one issue that I posted to our group, but I just wanted to make you aware of it.
Okay.
That's a new
I
bug.
see.
I know that worked on previous versions of the code. I set it up during the winter, but I didn't actually use it. It's like that's a new bug. I couldn't save them either.
You
They'll
meant
fix
if
it.
you're setting a schedule, say from 10 p.m. to like 2 a.m., that's not gonna work?
When you go to hit save, it gives you an error. What was the error, Steve?
Hold on.
Yeah, Steve posted it and I tested it and I got the same results. It's on our group.
The message that I got was invalid start time format.
Right.
Oh, timeout?
No, you valid start.
Okay.
This here.
You'll fix it.
Yeah, we'll let the team know. I believe this is a minor bug that can be fixed quickly.
But what I want to, I guess, what I'd like to know is when scheduling, is it going to be, because with mowing the lawn, you don't want it every day at the same time necessarily. You want to set like, in my case, the 3 areas, I'd have one each day, or one every, that section on Tuesday, that section on Thursday, the last section on Saturday, that type of thing. So that would be the most intuitive way to do a schedule.
Yes. Yeah, I'll let the team know. I don't know if there's any smarter way to do it other than setting like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to Sunday, and like you get to pick the areas and in different at different days. Do you guys have any ideas? How would you like to set it up for the mowing routine?
Just like a sprinkler system, if they do a sprinkler type setup, so you can do zone 1s on whatever days you want, zone 2 on whatever days. If they do just a simple, just like a in-ground sprinkler system, it'd be your best option.
Okay. Just pick the day and then pick the time?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
And
so let me add a little
start
bit.
time and not worry about the end time, guys. Have it start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and run until it's done.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because we'd never guess how long it's gonna take.
Right.
Mhm.
So let me add this. I don't have the M1, but I'm speaking from the Luba standpoint, because that's the system I'm currently using. And that has scheduling as well, but I can't ever get myself to set a schedule because, the kids might leave something out in the grass, or they might have moved a rock exactly where it'll destroy it. So I always kind of do a walk around and then I set it to go and do the mowing myself. I tell it to go. But the problem is that I like to do different areas with different patterns, kind of just to change it around, because the different areas, like some of them are too skinny to do a checkerboard. So I don't want it to constantly turning. I just have it go straight back and forth. I wish there was a sequencing where I could say, first do this area, then this area, then this area, then this area, then this area, and this area. And you might be going for 24 hours. I don't care. Just do it all in that order. Because right now I have to say, okay, do these 2 areas with these settings. Then I have to wait for it to finish. Then I say, now do these 2 areas with these settings. Then I have to wait for that to finish. And then I have to do that, my backyard, with its own settings. And so I don't know if with like scheduling, you can say specifically these settings, but I can never use a schedule for that because I don't know when it's going to be done. So I have to manually start it when it finishes the last one. And so it turns into a multi-day thing, which is fine. You know, I start at the front on one day, and then, you know, it usually finishes that in one day, and then I do the back the next day after I wake up or whatever. So sequencing would be great, where I would set it to do one area first, then the next, then the next, and however long it takes to go do the recharge cycles and everything, that's how long it takes. I don't really care. I just want it to know, when you're done with this, then do that. When you're done with that, then do this. So that's an alternative to scheduling.
I think some of that's already supported, because every work area, every different section of lawn, you can set the height for the cut, the direction of the pattern of the cut. If you do the second pass cut, you can set the angle of that as well. So you could do, I want a checkerboard here, but not there. This front section, I want the lines to go east-west. This other section, I want the lines to go north-south. That is already supported. Now, the timing bits about, you know, when to run them and sequence them, that when this one is done, start the next, that's still being worked on. You know, the schedule is still being developed. But I hear your thoughts on that, and obviously everybody else here has too. And I'm sure they'll be looking at, you know, other systems to see how do they do it. So they'll develop something good.
So just similar to the S1, and I know you have the S1, and we are making the settings to the zones instead of the plan itself. So basically, if you have like a front yard, backyard, and driveway, you're setting different settings for those zones, those 3 zones. And when you are writing auto plan, Yarbo will adjust based on the zone settings instead of the plan setting. So I think that solves your problem. And or you want the sequence, like what Ken said, you want which zones to be run first. That we do not have currently.
Yes, but I think it's achievable, right? Just to when you select the zones for your work plan, you can select them in order. Just so Yarbo would know like which zone that you want to mow first and which one follows.
Again, that's gonna be a lot of changes in the algorithms, more than we think it is, but yeah.
To back up about
Thinking back,
there's a part that we didn't answer yet about obstacles in the lawn. I'm pleased to say that the normal tree obstacles, pine cones, small sticks, it really does handle those beautifully. I have learned that the small round pine cones that are the size of a golf ball, they'll jam up in the mower deck, but we're talking about that. We'll see if anything can be done. But the bigger pine cones, I've not had them get stuck. Small sticks, okay, it's possible to have one get stuck in there, but they're easy to remove. Generally, it will go right over them. They do not get in the way. There are a fence on the front, you know, metal teeth basically, that do very well at deflecting obstacles out of the way. The cameras on there, Steve has done more testing on that than I've been able to. The hardware I have doesn't have the cameras working like Steve's are. We have slightly different hardware, but the vision system on there should be able to go around obstacles that it sees that are lying in the lawn. Now, a small ball that's below the top of the grass, it may not see that unless the color is radically different. But something larger that sticks above the grass, it will see. Steve, do you want to make any comments about the cameras? Because you've been testing the
Sure.
cameras a bit, and I have not.
One of the things we were doing during our testings is, a lot of it, we were sticking our foot in front of it to see what would happen. I know you guys had it where it would actually, hit your foot. You get the collision detected message. Yesterday and today, when I tried doing that with mine, it actually stopped, backed up, and went around me.
Like it should.
I did
like
not.
It's supposed to. Right. So, your kid's leaving a bicycle, a tricycle, a soccer ball on your lawn. I believe it'll be able to see those and get around them safely. And I know in testing that Yarbo has done, it's been able to get around larger branches that are lying on the lawn that are above the top of the grass. It's able to maneuver around those. I think the dog poop question, unless it's really standing proud above the grass, dog poop may get hit. Until they develop a module to pick that up first. But I think the sweep your lawn first, just look it over as you're driving out, looking for obstacles is a good plan. Because if you're driving out to go to work and you see that, oh boy, there's a problem, you can just use the app from work and say, no, don't mow that area today. I'll clean it up when I get home.
Can the vision detect dog poop?
Big dog, maybe.
Does the app I think we have a question from Brian. Does the app receive any alerts on these obstacles? I'm not sure what's the settings for now, but I think for Yarbo will mark the obstacles on the map, and if it's temporary, like you can remove it when the obstacle is moved, and if something permanent, we'll just leave like a no-go zone on the app.
And I believe that when it adds no-go zones where the cameras detect something and it adds a no-go zone, can't you then yourself remove it, saying, oh yeah, the soccer ball was there, the soccer ball is gone now, please mow that next time? Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's the design for the vision and obstacles. But I don't think this has been implemented to the current app, right?
Currently, I've got sticks in my yard. So if you have a stick in your yard, it will mow around it. It doesn't create a no-go zone. It just manually goes around it. That stick's picked up next time. As long as the grass hasn't gotten so tall, it detects that as an obstacle. It'll mow it the next time it goes over it.
Okay.
Yeah, with the version I've got, I'll hit the stick. We have slightly different hardware the way things are currently.
Wait, does the blade cut through the stick, or I thought the blade, the disc is like pivoting disc, so like meaning the blades will not cut through the obstacles?
The way that works for all the listeners out there, on the bottom of M1, there's two discs about 10 inches in diameter, and they're side by side. On those two discs, there's 5 basically like utility knife blades that are held on with a single bolt. They're just a rectangular piece of metal sharpened on the 2 sides. That single bolt allows those blades to pivot. So if you're mowing along and a stick gets past those teeth in the front I mentioned and gets underneath, if that stick impacts the blade will just pivot inwards, so the blade really won't be damaged. And so you might nick the stick, but it's not going to normally do damage. And these are just cheap blades that you can get through hardware stores. They're not something that you sharpen. By the way, they're sharpened on both sides, so you can take the bolt out, flip the blade over, and use the other side. We've talked, a couple folks have suggested, hey, make the motor spin clockwise one time and counterclockwise the next time, so you can cut using both sides of that blade without having to flip the blade over. And I'm not sure if the motors or the electronics for the motors, the speed controllers, can support that or not, but it's something that was suggested. So you don't really have to worry about the blades being damaged. I know that Steve managed to hit something and bend a blade, but they're dirt cheap. You just take the bolt out and replace it.
Yeah, the motors can do that, can run counterclockwise, but we that's not the optimal way for the motors to cut. We see that grass gets stuck into the deck when we are going counterclockwise. So yeah, so we are setting it to only go inwards, like both
Okay.
discs cutting inwards. Yeah.
I can see that. You're right. You're spinning the other way. It would let grass clippings be pushed out to the two sides more and could build up
Yeah.
on the edges of the deck underneath. I see your
Yes.
point. So yeah, take the bolt out, flip the blade over, put it back on, and keep on going. And those blades, I think they'll last a good long time.
2 months for blades, remember?
I believe
Around
it.
6 months.
Then
Yeah.
flip them over and go for another couple months. And they're cheap.
Mhm.
I believe
Yeah, and
that the M1 ships with spare blades, correct?
the what?
Are spare blades shipped with the M1? So
Yes.
customers will already have spares?
Yep. I think another sets will be within the package. So
That's great.
yep. And question from Brian. Speaking of the blades, a normal mower blade supplies some lift to the grass blades to aid in cutting. Does Yarbo disc provide any grass lift? What is grass lift?
I understand. He's asking whether or not there's a vacuum effect from the plates that will lift grass up if it's lying down. The answer to that is no, not currently. I know that Scott, who's on the screen, has had some thoughts about it. So there may be discussions with Yarbo about it, but currently no. You need to remember that this is designed to be like, think about a Roomba vacuum in your house. You know, it runs and it does just the top surface cleaning and it does a good job. And you run it every day or every few days. Same here. The Yarbo will go out and mow areas of your lawn every few days. So you're only taking off the top portion. So really, you shouldn't need to vacuum the grass up too much in order to cut it. And if it's wet and it's packed down from being wet, you probably ought to wait for it to dry a bit.
And speaking to that, we see that there's some products, some other mowers can do the vacuum thing, but it sounds good, but it doesn't really work, right? Because the mower is running at a fast speed, and just when they go past by the grass, it doesn't actually provide enough lifting or vacuum powers to straighten up the grass. So it sounds like a good plan, but it doesn't really work, and that's why we didn't use that. Like it's kind of dual blades, right? So two layers of blades. The top layers works like a vacuum and straighten up the grass. Yeah, so that's the thing we tested. It doesn't really work that well.
Yeah. It's different with a gas mower where you've got high lift blades where, you know, your blade literally, you know, the end of your blade, you can have the cutting surface and then this other surface will cause a lifting action. That doesn't really work as well on an electric mower, in my opinion. Someone will probably prove me wrong and I'll be thrilled by that. It is possible, you know, perhaps the cutting disc could have a propeller shape molded into it somewhere where it could do a bit of this, but then you're adding wind resistance to it. So, you know, we'll wait and see what develops. But it works great the way it is.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions, thoughts? Anything? All right, I'll let you go. Let you guys go. All right, I think we're gonna have another live event on the Yarbo core and the tow mode, not the autonomous tow mode, but like the towing different attachments of Yarbo this week. But it has been raining every day, and we're not sure if we can do it like the lab event, but we're thinking like even when it's raining, we can still do it. As long to show Yarbo's capability against rain. So yeah, I think we're gonna have that live event on Wednesday night for you guys. So stay tuned. I think we have 8 attachments arriving at our office today, like the Swipper,
Not-
detacher, right?
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
from Yarbo, but just
Yeah,
in general.
another factory. It should be fun. All right.
I'm looking forward to seeing the 2024 design. I think there's a lot of cool things that are being done to that. And I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to it. The 2023 is a good, solid unit, but the 2024 is exciting.
Yes, I know. Same. And also, do you guys know like the 2024 version can serve as a speaker?
No, we haven't. We never.
Oh, we never-
never.
Oh, sorry. We never say that before?
Yeah, we never.
Giving away
Oh,
trade
okay.
secrets.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I pointed that out to you guys that,
Anybody else?
yeah, I
there's
pointed that
gonna
out to you guys that every security camera out there has a microphone and a speaker built into it. So you can talk to your mailman, or you can yell at the kids to get off my lawn, you
Yes.
know, and the fact that we'll have this vision ability where we could drive the rover out and see what's going on our lawn. It would be very nice to be able to listen in and speak back and say, "Hey kid, get off my lawn."
Yes. Yeah. Because I've seen them on testing all the time, but we haven't made announcement on that.
No.
All right. Anyways, don't tell anybody else. We won't make an official announcement on this. Sure. Yeah.
But this is a good example to the listeners out there. Yarbo listens. When there's an idea, tell them about it. And if enough people want
Yes.
it, they'll work on it. They really do care.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys for joining our forum today. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, hopefully Wednesday night. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, like Ken just mentioned, just send us a message, an email, or just leave a comment in our community, and we'll see, and we will do our best to make your request come true. All right.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Thank you.
Have a great
Pleasure.
night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.